Hello, welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the programme this evening.
The families of 3 boys who died on scouting trips call for people to contribute to a new government survey to improve safeguarding and potentially save lives.
What we want is for everyone in the future to only know a wonderful experience in scouting.
Preparations are underway in northern France to honour a World War I soldier from Wirral who died on the Somme.
Show Me the Monet, the immersive experience in Liverpool, bringing the Impressionist seminal works to life and inspiring artists of tomorrow along the way.
A rivalry in matrimony. The husband and wife stock car races raising a family off the track, but going head-to-head on it.
The boy from Tilsley who conquered the world of dance. Now Jordan James Bridge returns home to the high school where he danced for the first time.
And after a wet start, it's going to be a week of 2 halves. From Thursday onwards, things look like perking up. All the details coming up shortly.
Well, first tonight, the families of 3 children who died on trips with the Scouts are urging other families with similar experiences to speak up to make children safer.
Yeah, they're calling for anyone with information about safeguarding at the organisation to take part in a government survey. The government want anyone who's involved in organisations like the Scouts to tell them their experiences, and they've set up an online questionnaire.
In a minute, we'll be hearing from the families, but first, this report from Tim Scott.
3 boys who died on trips with the Scouts. The Scouts were responsible for the death of Ben Leonard, who fell to his death from the Great Orme in 2018. They're being investigated for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Patricia Craddock's son Lee died in 1995 after falling nearly 400 feet down a cave in Yorkshire. The Scouts had failed to complete a risk assessment and had taken more than the recommended number on the trip. Sharon Collins' son, Scott Fanning, died in 1998 after he also fell to his death on a Scout trip near Haywood. Last year, the Scouts told us they're committed to learning and change. Organisations like them come under the banner of out-of-school settings, extracurricular activities for children. They include sports clubs to music tuition to uniformed organisations like the Scouts. A government report from 2022 identified many safeguarding issues around out-of-school settings. Now the government want these organisations and the people who use them to give their testimony so they can look at making them safer in the future. There is an online questionnaire to be filled in anonymously if needed, where people can add their thoughts and concerns. It will close on the 21st of August. And this week, the families of Ben Leonard, Scott Fanning and Lee Craddock will be giving their thoughts in person when they meet government representatives in Sheffield on Wednesday.
Well, ahead of that meeting, the families of the 3 boys from our region who died on Scout trips came in to speak to Tim, and he began by asking them what's the thinking behind the government survey.
It's asking the general public and organisations that have input with out-of-school activities to consider how they find those activities and those different organisations. So are there any problems with safeguarding? Are the children safe within the organisation? And actually, what does that organisation look like at the moment, and what can we do to make it safer?
And it's for people who use them. It's not just for the organisations themselves. This is for parents of children who go to these Scout groups, art groups, sports groups, isn't it? It's
and
everybody.
Children themselves as well. It's open to children as well, and it can be completed anonymously. I think that's quite important to say.
And what do you think the government are trying to achieve with all this?
So they're looking for the gaps in policy at the moment, and they're looking for the at-risk areas.
You want to focus on the Scouts.
This is an organisation that's lost a fair number of children.
Yes.
We've no idea of how many near misses there's been. The Scouts is wonderful, but it's also had its incidents.
It's bad enough that children have died. It's how they deal with it afterwards. It's how they treat families. It's how they've treated all of us. Those wounds go so deep. It's time to have your say. This is the opportunity to have your say. What we want is for everyone in the future to only know a wonderful experience in scouting.
you still want a public inquiry into the Scouts, don't you?
Yes.
Why is that?
Quite often, the inquest will suggest that the death of their child was due to an accident. And it's clear that in a lot of these cases, they weren't actually accidents. Ben's inquest came up with that outcome of the unlawful killing contributed to by neglect. And actually, what happened to Ben happened to our sons over 20 years ago. They're so similar, and what that proves is that no learning occurred. There has been no change in practice, and that is why we need to support regulation going forward.
We, as individuals, handed our children over with the understanding that they were going to be cared for, and the only thing that was going to happen were our boys were going to have a great time. And sadly, that went wrong. And sadly, that's carried on going wrong.
And you're desperate for people to use this opportunity, aren't you?
Yes.
Regarding this initiative from the government, please go online and please fill these forms in with their... It could be good testimony, it doesn't have to be terrible.
This institution can hold a wonderful experience and, you know, and such amazing times, you know, and people can grow through that. But then they can hold horrific ones.
The parents need to ask those questions, don't they? What is your ratio of adults to children? What
have you done?
Your risk assessment?
Yes.
Have you done a recce of that walk, that activity?
Is there a first aider?
Is there a first aider with the
and
right
these
skills?
are the sort of issues which have cropped up for you and that have caused the deaths.
Absolutely.
Pat, Sharon and Tom, thank you.
Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Well, now to some breaking news this evening. Up to 15 people have been injured after a bus crash in Eccles in Greater Manchester. Pictures from the scene show the double-decker without its roof after it hit a bridge on Barton Lane just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. A major incident was declared but later stood down. The injured have been taken to Salford Royal and Manchester Royal Infirmary.
Police searching for a missing woman from Cheshire have found a body. Rachel Booth from Barnton near Northwich was reported missing early on Saturday. The 38-year-old was last seen at a petrol station in Sandyway. Well, formal identification is yet to take place. Police believe the body recovered from a lake in nearby Oakmere is that of Rachel.
A 15-year-old boy has died after being hit by a vehicle on the M60 near Middleton yesterday afternoon. The incident prompted hours of delays and miles of tailbacks after the motorway was closed in both directions. People were seen walking along the road, thought to be Oasis fans heading to the final gig at Heaton Park. The M60 only reopened earlier this morning.
A man's been bailed after being questioned on suspicion of murder after an elderly couple died following an alleged arson attack in St Helens. Eric Greener and his partner Sheila Jackson died in hospital after the fire at their home last Tuesday. A 31-year-old man from St Helens arrested yesterday has now been conditionally bailed.
Now, the company which provides water to much of the northwest says it will take time to consider a report which recommends overhauling the system for regulating the sector. It follows widespread public anger over pollution, bills and bosses' bonuses. United Utilities says it's already begun a 5-year, £13 billion improvement plan. The government commissioned the report from the Independent Water Commission, which suggested replacing the watchdog Ofwat as one of a number of measures.
Oasis have played the last of their triumphant homecoming gigs in Manchester. The shows at Heaton Park have attracted close to 350,000 fans across 5 dates. Thousands more travelled to the nearby Gallagher Hill, where they could listen to the band perform. Police said there were just 5 arrests last night and no major incidents.
Now, final preparations are underway in northern France for a special ceremony to honour a World War I soldier from Wirral who died on the Somme.
Yes, Captain Houston Wallace was killed in 1916 and his only surviving relative, his Aunt Beatrice, dedicated her life to honouring her beloved nephew.
Well, tomorrow, the tiny village of Bazatan will turn out in force to remember Captain Wallace and the lasting memory left to him, all thanks to the efforts of Aunt Beatrice. Paul Crone reports from the Somme battlefields.
The Somme battlefields, the final resting place for over 1 million soldiers on both sides during World War I. Those who died include Captain Houston Wallace from Birkenhead in 1916. A memorial was erected in his memory near to where he died.
Captain Wallace and his battalion were attacking a German machine gun position about 250 yards down the lane behind me. Unfortunately, he was killed by that machine gun.
The wooden Calvary was paid for by Captain Wallace's Aunt Beatrice. Over the years, though, it's fallen into disrepair. But tomorrow, a newly replenished testimonial to the soldier from Wirral will be centre stage near the tiny village of Bazantin-le-Petit. So the memorial isn't due to be officially unveiled until tomorrow, but we're happy to give you a bit of a sneak preview. And it's the culmination of 3 years' hard work and fundraising by the organisation, the Cheshire Roll of Honour, to remember Captain Houston Wallace from Birkenhead.
The project's taken just under 3 years to complete. We've raised just over £7,000 to get all this work done, and without that, this memorial would have been lost to history.
A large turnout from both sides of the channel is expected, and Granada reports will be there too. Paul Crone, ITV News, Northern France.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that from Crony tomorrow night, and that report to Captain Wallace there. Well, time now to take a look at what's coming up on the national news. Here's Mary.
Coming up in the programme, the unlicensed driver who inhaled laughing gas behind the wheel and killed a pensioner. Kane Byrne was speeding when he hit 81-year-old Graham Slynn. Today, he was sentenced to more than 11 years in a young offenders institution. The government pulls the plug on the water regulator and the other changes coming for customers. And the last training session for the Lionesses before they face Italy in the Euros semi-finals. And do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now we know that Liverpool is a city synonymous with football, architecture and music, and now it's hosting the European premiere of a brand new artistic experience.
Yeah, following on from the success of Beyond Van Gogh last summer, this year the city's exhibition centre is hoping to make a good impression with Beyond Monet. The show will bring together some of his most famous and best-loved works.
And those who missed out on the Van Gogh exhibition will have a chance to see it again as it's back in the city. Victoria Grimes has been to find out more.
He's one of the world's greatest artists, and for visitors in Liverpool, a chance to immerse themselves inside his works. And for those experiencing their first taste of Impressionism, it certainly made a big impression.
Do you think if we looked really closely, we'd know what it is?
Yeah, I want to see.
The show uses digital technology to bring to life more than 400 of Claude Monet's works.
Like literally all the textures is making me feel like I'm literally alive, like inside the picture. And I'm literally living in a forest because it's all about foresty things. It's just amazing just to see everyone in here just watching all the magnificent art. I like how it moves around because it feels like you're moving as well.
And how does this make you feel about what you might like to do when you grow up?
It makes me feel good because I love art. It's my favourite thing to do. I want to be like a famous artist, like the world's famous records one.
Really? Do you think you could be the next Monet?
Probably.
It's really to try and take you into the mindset of each of these artists and kind of transport you for, you know, an hour and a half where you get to, feel their art around you, see it get recreated in front of you. It's not a traditional gallery or museum. We don't have any of their, original pieces here, but it's made to allow you to experience their art in a different way.
When you stand close and see the texture, the detail of the brushstrokes, but the fact that it looks almost like nothing, and then you walk further away, and the further away you get, the more you understand what it's about.
It's beautiful. You can't deny the man was extremely talented, can you?
You can't, you certainly can't. Well, as part of the experience, you can even take a stroll through what is perhaps Monet's greatest accomplishment, the place he dreamt of painting. It is, of course, the garden at Giverny, home to those famous water lilies. And from an impressionist masterpiece to those who came later, if you prefer a starry night or some sunflowers, you'll be pleased to hear that last year's Beyond Van Gogh experience is back in Liverpool once again.
Last year we had the Beyond Van Gogh exhibition. We had over 60,000 people attend this wonderful immersive experience. People come in from all over the UK for this European premiere. People are flying in from across all of Europe just to see this, and for us at Exhibition Centre Liverpool and the Liverpool region, it's fantastic to have this audience.
The shows run on alternate days until the 15th of August. Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Liverpool.
Looks so relaxing, doesn't it? Right, on to sport now. And Liverpool have agreed a fee of £69 million with Eintracht Frankfurt to sign striker Hugo Ekitike. That could rise to £79 million with add-ons. The Frenchman is expected to have a medical with Liverpool tomorrow and sign a 6-year contract, taking the club's summer spending past £250 million.
Meanwhile, Manchester United's Marcus Rashford is expected to become a Barcelona player tomorrow. He's believed to have passed his medical today ahead of his loan move, which could become a permanent move next summer.
To the husband and wife battling it out on the world of stock car racing. Lee Fairhurst, who's from Bolton, and his wife Jacqueline are rekindling their rivalry on the track after a 5-year break.
Yeah, in that time, Jacqueline has given birth to their 2 sons, but is now back in the driver's seat. I went along to meet them.
The next car for Lee to get past is his own wife.
The most awkward of overtakes. Bolton's Lee Fairhurst passes his wife just days after their 2nd wedding anniversary on the way to winning the latest round of the British stock car F1 series. But this happily married couple are once again sporting rivals, with Jacqueline back racing after a 5-year break to give birth to their sons William and 10-month-old George.
This is the first time properly for me and Jacqueline to get on the track together since we've had our 2 boys, and obviously just really proud moment. Obviously having 2 boys there, watching the mum and dad go out together and racing, it's you know, I'm thankful for our family to looking after the kids while we're out there.
It's exciting because to see what he's like actually on track, because I'm constantly telling him off when he comes off track, like, what were you doing that for? But now I'm on track, I can see it, and I was like, I don't want to mess him up, but I don't want him to beat me either. So I was, yeah, it was a bit of a toss-up, really. Ooh, look at that engine.
As well as fiercely competitive, this husband and wife duo are also fiercely supportive of each other. Between them, they have 130 race wins and more than 430 podium finishes. This was Jacqueline celebrating in her car after Lee took his latest checkered flag.
When he came past, I was a bit like, oh my God, he's winning. So I was like, what do I do? Do I block? Do I fight? You know, what do you do kind of thing? So, but when you went over the line, we kind of went over together, didn't we? Even though you were a whole lap ahead, but...
Yeah, it was a nice moment, obviously, to celebrate together, and managed to do a few power slides together and cross the line, so yeah, it was an awesome feeling.
Collisions and crashes are all part of stock car racing. Unbelievable! And for Jacqueline, who started racing at the age of 14, her return to the sport also comes 5 years after she had a serious crash, which left her unable to talk for 3 months.
As I hit the fence, something just went wrong in my head, and obviously it turned out later that I had a bleed on my brain. I'm so lucky, because the only thing I had wrong was that I couldn't speak for 3 months. It would have been so easy to just be like, oh, this thing has happened, let's just call it quits kind of thing, like, you know, play it safe. But at the same time, how do you teach your kids how to overcome difficulties in life if you're not willing to fight for what you want to do, and to prove to them that if you put your mind to it, you can overcome anything, can't you?
So proud of her to get back in the seat after so long, and since having George, and it's just amazing really for our boys to see us both race together and compete, and hopefully it won't be the last time. We can go out a few more times and enjoy this time together.
All revved up and ready for more. Lee returns to action in Bradford this weekend as he tries to qualify for the World Championships, while Jacqueline plans to join him back on track in Buxton in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah!
With racing in their genes, one day George and his big brother William may be following mum and dad into the driver's seat. Yeah, I've got to let you into a little secret as well, because while Lee may dominate on track, he did say that Jacqueline is actually the better driver of the family car. So there we go.
Of course
she was pleased to hear that.
But if you came up against your wife, would you block her or would you cheer her?
I would have a chance. She'd have smashed me. Before I even got a chance. Now, anyway, finally this evening to the secondary school that boasted an incredible record for producing stars.
Yeah, Fred Longworth High School in Tildesley in Greater Manchester has proven to be a conveyor belt for talent in music, sport and the arts.
Yeah, former pupils include an indie pop star, an actress, an Olympic champion, a lioness and one of the UK's most renowned dancers.
Well, his name's Jordan James Bridge and Mike Hall has been to meet him.
Dig down, snake the body, feed the leg.
For these young students, this was a pinch me moment. A masterclass in contemporary dance delivered by a man widely considered the master of the art.
Up this way, ha, roll, boom.
18 years ago, Jordan James Bridge took his first dance steps at this very school, and it changed his life.
It's literally like something, like a light bulb went in my brain, and I was like, this is something that I really want to explore. I ended up doing street dance as an extracurricular activity. There was a disabled youth dance company, and I was a part of that as well. I really kind of did everything that I possibly could that was gifted to us as students at Fred Longworth High School, and took that and ran with it.
And he hasn't stopped since. Jordan's performed for some of the world's biggest dance companies, a star of stage and screen.
I was a dancer in the Marvels, ABBA Voyage, like really, really crazy things that I never thought I would even dream of doing. And actually a big one, which I don't think people would know, but dancing at the Bolshoi in Russia is like one of the most prestigious theatres and venues worldwide. And little old me from Astley, little old boy from Astley, prancing around on the Bolshoi. It was kind of wild.
So what was he like as a student?
He wanted to get involved in absolutely everything. He never said no, and he just soaked it up like a sponge. But he worked really hard, and he had a great work ethic. And then when you merge that with the talent, bam, you got Jordan James Bridge.
A dancer and now choreographer, Jordan's work's been performed in theatres across the globe, his dance films winning a string of awards. So fair to say this was a big moment for the class of 2025.
It's kind of weird to meet him. It's like meeting a celebrity. I follow him on Instagram, so it's really like inspiring to meet him in person.
Go with the head, snake the body and press.
For him to come from like Tildesley, which is such a small place, to go to like places like London, that's just what everyone would want to do.
And for one former student, Jordan's real-life Billy Elliot story was the inspiration to follow in his footsteps.
I didn't really think it was possible, but seeing someone who's from my area and who's a boy, it really opened my eyes and was like, oh, maybe I could actually do that.
Jordan is one of many success stories from this school. Notable alumni include Tom Rylance, lead singer of The Lottery Winners, Olympic champion Keely Hodgkinson, Hollyoaks actress Ava Webster, and England footballer Ella Toone.
England do find their second.
Is that coincidence, or is there something special that goes on inside these walls?
Honestly, I think it's something special that goes on inside the walls of Fred Longworth High School. The teaching is brilliant. There's something about that kind of northern grit coming from a small town, and I think the teachers know that and really kind of push you and help you to kind of achieve your dreams.
Never in his wildest dreams could he have imagined this moment. The school's dance hall, named in his honour. A reminder to all students of what's possible when you put your best foot forward. Mike Hall, ITV News in Tildesley.
There's definitely something in the water in Tildesley, isn't there?
Fantastic talent, isn't it? Right, time for the weather. Here's Emma.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, hope you've had a super day. Still a few thunderstorms knocking around this evening. The warning for those in force until 9 o'clock tonight. And there could be some very sharp, heavy downpours in places, potentially a lot of surface spray on the roads this evening. 20 to 40 millimetres of rain in some spots in just a couple of hours. Just because you see a heavy downpour and you get some gusty winds doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the thunder and lightning and hail as well. but you could well do. And then things turn a bit drier overnight, but remaining unsettled until Thursday. However, turning drier and warmer after that. The weekend isn't looking bad at all. But still quite a lot going on until we get to the midweek point. Low pressure system, a few systems moving through before the high pressure starts to build from the west and the southwest behind me. That's going to calm everything down, though, by the time we get through to Saturday and Sunday. Over the next few hours, any showers this evening do fade, so clear skies for a time and mild temperatures. However, the next system begins to show its hand from the west as we head into the early hours of Tuesday. Some quite heavy downpours on that, which tend to tie in with tomorrow morning's rush hour as well, so watch out for that. Into tomorrow then, the sun's up about 5:10 in the morning, sets at 9:25 in the evening. A wet, dismal, cloudy start to the day with a hangback of cloud into the afternoon and a few showers around as well. In general, I don't think it's going to be as wet as it was today, and we are expecting those winds to be feeling a little bit fresher as well behind the front. But a lot of cloud, maybe 1 or 2 glimmers of brightness, but generally, as I say, slightly on the slide tomorrow. And then that front reinvigorates itself for Wednesday. So actually it's going to be wetter on Wednesday, but I don't think there'll be any rumbles of thunder. And then from Thursday onwards, in comes the high pressure. There's a weak front moving through on Friday, so a bit more in the way of cloud on Friday, but temperatures start to rally. It looks like being a fine weekend. That's the way the weather's looking. Here's your pollen.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
On then to the pollen report now. We are well past the peak of the grass pollen season, so counts generally low at the moment, although they could rise to moderate at weekend when the weather starts to pick up. That's it for now. Bye-bye.
Well, that's all from us on Granada Reports this evening. But just before we go, a huge well done to all those who took to the River Dee this weekend in the name of charity.
Yeah, the Chester Raft Race marked 50 years of fundraising as brave competitors took to the water on some very impressive rafts. Organisers say the event was their biggest, most successful to date. Raised plenty of money for charity. Well done to all of them.
Oh, yeah. Look
Great
fantastic.
rafts.
Good night.